What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what the hell is happening, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 8.37%, absolutely getting slaughtered today. 237 the low, 265 the high, but you are seeing a lot of volume. So 239.68 million shares being traded today. 111 is the average. So based on both the secondary market, which you do see a small handful of transactions, majority of which are sells, as well as the dark pool, you do see a lot more transactions today, but definitely does not add up to that 220 whatever mil. So I do believe that there is something happening, and most likely we'll find out either after hours today or possibly in the next couple of trading days, but I'll talk on that later in the video. But as far as right now though, no news from Lucid, no SEC filings or anything along those lines. So it is just merely piggybacking off of the broader market sphere, and as well I do feel something else is happening. But the only thing that kind of came out that could obviously be impacting Lucid, probably not to this extent though, was this. So there wasn't a new analyst rating. So last one did come out 10 days ago, and then you had 13 days ago. So all of which I've already previously brought up in videos. But as I've mentioned in the past, analysts can change their estimates and kind of talk on things without doing a new official rating. And that's kind of what did happen. So Lucid right here, I believe this did come from Bank of America. Lucid's ambitious 2025 delivery forecast and Gravity production ramp up are promising, but the company has a spotty track record on meeting targets. Profitability remains years away. Only sustained delivery growth and margin improvement could justify a more bullish stance on the stock. So all in all, not really new information. This is something I pretty much bring up all the time, that Lucid really needs to get their ass in gear and ramp up. There should be no excuses. Lucid has had like years to prepare for the Gravity. There's should be absolutely no issue at this stage from them really ramping up. So this is unfortunately one thing that did come out that's probably impacting Lucid. Aside from that though, you see a lot of just grayness in the broader market. So you did have ultimately this, so about the US courts kind of striking down Trump's April tariffs. So you see the market originally very optimistic about this, but there's been a hell of a lot of comments coming out from the White House, from Trump, saying that we are going to work around it. We're going to pretty much slap them and whatever else. So it does appear as though that they might be back on the table in the next little bit. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that does all play out. But definitely today's volume is abnormal, and it isn't shorts. So shorts right now are increasing 1.62 million shares. So in a normal day, that would be somewhat important to bring up, but given 220 something million shares being traded, this is just absolute chump change. 30.77% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 379.51 million shares overall are being shorted. Looking at the options, 1.95 million in calls, 491,000 in puts. 42% of all the options being done are neutral in nature, and that was mostly done between these. Given the volume though, options dollar value does not jive with the common stock. So definitely it goes to show, and this is obviously alluding to where I'm going to get at, is that whatever is causing this only has a common stock interest. It does not have any options. But again, I'll kind of talk on that in 1 minute. But based on the options, you do see a consensus for it to be above that 250. That's the bulls. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 250, and now for even next week for it to be sub $2. So more of a full-on breakdown with it right now though at 240. It is exactly on this S2, so that's going to be a key pivot. Just watch for that. Markets open in another 1 hour, so just watch for it to ideally close above that. 250 is going to be a next strong target / resistance, followed by 269. Flip side, 221 is going to be the next strong support. And like I mentioned, no new analyst ratings, no articles or anything like that. Today it did break below that 50-day moving average. So historically, that does result in like a 30% swing. So again, the algos might be also piggybacking off of this, causing Lucid to go down. So definitely watch for that. So the 50-day moving average is sitting at $2.48. So you are ultimately having analysts turn a little bit more additionally bearish on Lucid. You have the technicals breaking down, and then based on the volume, like I said, we have common stock, huge amount of common stock, kind of lackluster options. So that does lead me to believe that it is a insider, someone selling. So if we pop over to the ownership right here, you can kind of see that you have a lot of these individuals. Peter Rawlinson, you have whatever else, the PIF. Not here to say the PIF is selling, but hypothetically they could if they really wanted to, based on that recent prospectus that did come out. I think it was like a month and a half ago. But no matter what though, it is one of these individuals that is selling out. So if it is a insider, they will have to submit a Form 4 within, I believe it's like 1 or 2 days. So we will find out if it is someone selling on that side, even if the PIF, because since they do have a majority stake, they do have to again submit a Form 4. So I do believe, like I said, just based on the overall volume and obviously not much options being done, it is someone here that is selling. No matter what though, not necessarily a bullish kind of stance, because honestly, if we kind of look at the overall shares, 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, Peter Rawlinson, he has 13.92. The only logical one based on the volume is either the PIF or Vanguard selling. I know this is not what people want to hear, and this is definitely just my analysis, because there's no other logical explanation why we would be having this amount of volume if one of those two entities did not sell, because BlackRock only has 41 million shares. Even if they dumped everything, that's only a certain small percentage of like today's overall volume. Like, you essentially need Vanguard, UBS, and BlackRock all completely selling out a Lucid, and that was would make up the overall volume today. So I do believe that it's either Vanguard, PIF, in combination with algorithmic trading, but definitely some sketchy stuff is happening today, and it is not associated to shorts, which is a first. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. What do you think is causing all of this absolute crazy volume? Do you think that there's some crazy scenario happening behind the scenes that we're not really aware of? Like I mentioned, a lot of these dark pool transactions don't really jive as well with the overall volume. So again, meaning it would most likely have to be one of these entities, I would assume, but anything is possible. We'll have to again wait and see how it all plays out. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon to give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.